What's up, guys?
Hello, pupils.
So today we're going to talk about who comes first when you're married or in a serious relationship. Does your spouse come first, your family, your in-laws, or your child?
Basically, the question is, who should get your priority of your attention? You know, some people I've seen things on social media like, oh, well, your mother comes before your child, or your mother comes before your spouse, whatever. So we just kind of want to talk to you guys, discuss what we think about that whole
In
dilemma.
our opinion.
In our opinion, yeah.
Go ahead and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on new videos.
Yes, content like this, family stuff, relationship stuff. That's what we talk about.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
So when you first get married, of course, or you're in a serious relationship, that person is your world, your everything. You're doing everything to cater to them, seeing what they want.
As it should be.
Trying to, meet their needs. And it's just like happy-go-lucky, all about them 24/7.
Mm-hmm. You put it on a good front to kind of like, hey, you're my world right now. But eventually life comes in and reality comes in. And then
life
at
hits.
that point, what do you do?
Yeah, what do you do? Are you going to prioritize your family once you get married? Are you going to prioritize your children before your spouse? Like, where's your head going to be at that point?
Exactly. When you're in a dating relationship, like I said, your family should come most likely before the person you're dating. But once you become married and you guys become in unison and as one, it changes the rules a lot. So like, as before, your mother was maybe being the person that you like take care of, whatever. Once you get married, you can always like hey, I'm married now. Can I have to change things?
Exactly. Me personally, I think once you're married, you leave and you cleave to your spouse. So at that point, your spouse should be your priority. As far as the order, I think the spouse comes before family, and then your child comes after your spouse. That's just typically how I think things should be done. However, you do have some situations where your priority will be different. And it depends on the situation, and it also depends on how your spouse is feeling at the time and how open you are with your spouse. Because say if you have a family emergency, your husband needs you, he needs to get picked up from work, but then your mom is on the line saying she needs you to take her to the emergency room. It's like, what are you going to do?
Really and truly, it comes down to common sense and the level of need. Certain things kind of like you're like, okay, I want something, whatever, and like someone actually is an emergency situation. Of course, that emergency situation comes before anything else. Yeah. But we're talking in general, like, okay, well, just general stuff like non-common sense stuff. I know some people who believe that, okay, well, their family members, their world, like they clean, especially in some other religions and other cultures, family comes first. So your family, you take care of your family, and then you own a household. And then so in some cultures, that's how it is. Not in this house. Way we can. The whole idea of who comes first to me is really like a idiotic subject.
He thinks it's common sense.
I think it's stupid. It is common sense because.
But people don't think like that.
Your spouse comes before anyone else. It comes before your mom, your family, your grandma. If your spouse needs you to do something, especially making decisions, or you're having questions or issues or arguments, whatever, you always pick the side of your spouse before anyone else because that's your spouse. You guys are one. Once you become married, you're one. I'm her, she's me. So whatever affects her affects me. Whatever affects me affects her. So I put her before everything else. She's before my son because without her, I wouldn't have him. So I need her. So that's kind of how I look at things. And I feel that my son is before the rest of my family because that's my inner unit. Some other people, I don't understand why someone wouldn't think that way.
I think the same way also. I just thought it would be really important to have our viewpoint here because I know a lot of people do think differently. And that's just how I guess they were raised and, how they think things should go. But there are some times where, okay, it's time to serve dinner, and some may think, okay, you need to serve the child first because the child's hungry, the child has a bedtime, they're on a schedule, And some people may say, okay, no, I'm going to stick with what I believe and always serve my husband first and then serve my child. But for us, even though we say, okay, our spouse comes first, then the children, then our family, we're a really open couple and really open as individuals. So we don't stick to what we believe when it comes to like randomly serving dinner or randomly serving lunch. Because at the end of the day, our son eats at random times sometimes, and he doesn't care.
The way I look at that is that if you as a man feel like you have to be served first, then you need to check your own manhood, because that's just ridiculous. That's just idiotic to think that, oh, I'm the head of the household, feed me first, I need a big piece of chicken. That's just you being your own whatever. Like, get over yourself. Get over yourself. You're not that important. Yes, you're the head of the household. You're not that important. I hate that kind of toxic masculinity stuff. Like, no. Just be whatever. Just be chill. Like, I don't have to have... There's a difference between being honor and then having your family subservient to you. So I feel that there is a level of honor in a relationship as far as, like, okay, well, this is who's quote-unquote in charge or first. But that's totally different than being subservient and say, oh, you have to serve me and then I'm ahead or whatever. No, I hate that kind of mess. So no. She's my world. I'm her world. We're equal partners in this. So... I give her the amount of respect and stuff that I expect from her, and she gives me the amount of respect from her. I don't look at her any differently than I look at myself, because that's how it should be. In a relationship, it should be level. So we're first for each other, and then everything else comes after that. And I'm not putting myself before I put her. No, I put her on the same level with myself. If anything, I put her before I put myself. And that's how it should be in a relationship. Each of you should be lifting each other up and putting the other person first, and then everyone's happy. That's just, I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't think you should be just stuck up in your ways where you feel upset if it's done differently one day. It should just be something that's talked about, because honestly, that's not something that we talked about, but we just kind of thought the same.
Our personalities are kind of the same, so we kind of fall into the same way, but in relationships, that could be a big issue for some people.
Some people take it serious.
Very seriously, that whole idea of, okay, well, you have to, I don't know, whatever, me first or whatever, or if your parents call and say they need something, okay, you can't help them or you can't help them. Some people take that very seriously. Like, I know that right now, if my mother called me and she absolutely needed me for something, my wife knows my mom is not going to come into our lives and interject herself unless it's important, because we set that boundary ahead of time that, hey, my family's first. So if you need something, let me know, but I have to clear it with my wife. You're not going to be able to just come in and overtake things. But you have some relationships where the mother or the mother-in-law is like, makes all the rules and all the decisions or whatever, and that's just...
And I think some people would think like that because in their mind, their family was there before their spouse, so they're not going to stop doing what they've been doing.
But you leave your spouse and you leave your family and cling to your spouse. So the moment when you get married, yes, your family was there first, but now you can't put them first because the order is your spouse first.
Because you have more responsibilities. Your responsibilities, I guess, is different now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what marriage does. It changes the dynamics of things. And some relationships can't handle that. It really depends on your own personality and your own family dynamics. And sometimes you just sit your parents down or sit your whatever down and say, hey, I'm married now. You need to kind of back off. Like, my wife, my spouse, my husband is first.
And then if your family does need you, that's something that should be talked about with your spouse and just come to an agreement with what you guys are going to do.
Exactly.
Like, say if your family needs, I don't know,
finances or help,
some
or
money,
anything.
or they need to borrow your car or something. You can't just go out on a whim and say, all right, I'm going to do it because I'm going to put my family first. You're going to put your spouse first, and how you navigate that. You're going to talk with your spouse and see, hey, my family needs this. Can we do this?
Exactly.
So then you're not just putting your family first. You're still prioritizing your family, but you're putting your spouse first by bringing it to him, discussing it. So then it's kind of like you did put your family first, but you included your spouse.
Exactly. Because your spouse and your children, they're your family too. So, but it's different levels of circles of family. So people who live in your household, who sleep in your bed under your roof, should come before anyone else outside of your household, because your household is what matters. and then keeping that nice and peaceful and easy was what matters, and then deal with everything else afterwards. That in your household should come to agreement with things of how to deal with people outside of your household, and not the other way around.
Go ahead and comment your opinions of what you guys
This is a touchy subject.
People should do and who should come first, because this is just what we believe, but I know there's a lot of different viewpoints out there.
I don't know why. It just makes sense. It's biblical. It's even biblical. You leave you cling to your like. I didn't get it. I want to see if you guys understand differently or you guys feel differently. Let me know. I would love to hear someone who thinks differently and their reasons behind it, because I can't fathom anything differently. So I would love to hear from you guys. Please comment, like, share this around to your friends who you think may feel differently, so they can come and comment and we can get a good discussion going.
Yep. Thank you so much for watching this video.
Thank you, and we will see you guys next time.
Bye.
Deuces.